Hi, welcome to the SEO Hangout with Josh Bachynski. That is me. Today I've got some very interesting leaks from you from even more Google employees. If you haven't watched one of my Hangouts before, it's an SEO Hangout where I talk about all the Google leaks, the SEO tips and tricks, experiments. My 17 years experience doing SEO for some larger customers and smaller customers as well. And anything I can just to be a thorn in Google's side and to give you all the SEO information. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And today I have a bunch of SEO leaks from more exotic Google employees that you normally don't hear about. They're coming out of the woodwork and they're saying lots of different really interesting stuff you haven't heard before. So this is going to be very interesting, so I'll get right to it. And I apologize for my summer tan I have going on here. I realize I'm fairly luminescent, but the light, oh, it was better, auto track there. Keep my hands here and the lighting's not too bad. So I apologize, but it's a crappy web camera. Maybe I'll get a good camera. If you want to watch me on a good camera, it just so happens that I have a very expensive and high production quality movie coming out. It's a documentary about Google. I'll have more information about that at the end of this broadcast. So let's get to the SEO goodness, and then we'll get to bashing Google. So this is all the way back from the very, very end of March, and then April, May, and then going into June. And I'm going to go rapid fire. So if you want me to repeat things, rewind the video and watch it again. That's the benefit of recording things on video. You can watch it multiple times. Like this dinosaur, you can go back in time. Anyway, so Paul Har, he's... his last name sounds like it should be from Halifax. Paul Har is a Google engineer, an actual real Google engineer who actually does coding, not Gary Ilyish, not John Mueller, who may have coded once in their lifetime, but essentially do public relations for Google now, are essentially like forum communication, like webmaster trends analysts who just kind of analyze the search quality and talk to people and then report back to actual engineers. An actual Google engineer, Paul Har, on Google said recently to Ray Hoffman, otherwise known as Sugar Ray in the industry, a very lovely person. I've never met her actually. She's just slagged me off for no reason. I don't know. I'm not bitter at all. Not whatsoever. Anyway, so Paul Har, Ray Hoffman asked him, this is coming after SMX West, I believe, and which he presented at. And Ray Hoffman asked him, do you care to elaborate on Twitter? Do you care to elaborate on that reference regarding time for site to render or time for user to be able to find the answer within the page or combination? So they were discussing the different events you can track in the terms of a ranking discussion. And the discussion talked about different factors based on time you can track, like time for the page to render. So you ask the page from the server, you get the page, the time it takes in your browser to render, or the time for the user to be able to find the answer within the page. Those are two very different things. Very interesting that they're talking about these things. And Paul Har gave a very fascinating answer. He said, and I quote, "There's a whole family of things you could measure as time to result. And I can't go into detail about which ones we use. Sorry." Okay, so he said, and I repeat, there's a whole family of things you could measure as time to result, and I can't go into detail about which ones we use. Sorry. Thanks, Paul. Okay, you know what that means? That's not a denial. That's not a denial that they're not using any of these things. In fact, that's an admission they use some of these things, right? Or I take it as an admission that they use some of these things. Otherwise, he would just have said, we don't use any of those things. Never mind, if he had the public relations training that Gary Ilyish and John Mueller have, he should have said, we don't use any of these things. But instead, because Google in some way is trying to be more transparent to the good SEOs, because they're trying to be more transparent to the good SEOs, they are trying to be a little bit more communicative about some of the things they're doing. And they know RankBrain is getting to the point where it's almost impossible to black hat game it. It's very expensive to black hat game it and very hard to black hat game it because I believe it works based off user clicks. I believe there's a ton of evidence to show this. And it's really hard to fake these user clicks. By the way, if you're on some kind of service, crowd search me, or some kind of service that claims to be able to fake the user clicks, they don't. I've looked into these things as much as I can tell, as much as they will share information with me, and typically they don't, which tells me it doesn't work then. if they're not willing to share information with me for me to test it and then buy the service and buy lots of it, then it's not working, right? But also I have snuck on there. I've gotten people to sneak on there. I've tested it. And as far as I can tell, it helps you as much as hurts you. It's 50-50. So if it's 50-50, that means no bueno. That means you can't tell if it works, right? Grrr. So that's a very interesting result. So, and remember, it's very interesting in combination of what he answered. He answered, they're talking about time for the site to render, or are you guys tracking time for the user to be able to find their answer within the page? Remember, they can trace clicks, they can follow clicks. For example, just today, I tried to find a website that the DNS was failing on and failed. And you ever noticed in Google Chrome, at the very least, when you go to a new web page, when you open up a new tab and just type in a URL and hit enter, or paste in a URL and hit enter, it goes to Google first. I don't know if you noticed this. It goes to Google first, and it goes to google.com/_/Chrome/ and then some URL string. So they can track everything. They are tracking everything, even if it's not on Chrome. If it's on Android, they're definitely tracking it. Anything that's using the safe browsing feature in Safari, IE, and Chrome and Firefox, they're tracking it both on mobile and desktop because they run that database. They have to see what you're clicking. They know how long it takes you to click it. So they're tracking all this stuff, guys. That's what RankBrain does. It's an artificial intelligence to see where people click and what it should rank based on that. Because it doesn't know what you mean when you type in farkin, frugen, fleekin, flurkin, like some new search term they've never seen before. That's what RankBrain was designed to do. To go, okay, I don't know what this is. I'll give you some stuff I think is semantically related, and we'll see where you click. And RankBrain, the AI, goes, oh, okay, most people click here. I guess that's what this means. Changes the semantic latent indexing, boosts that. That's how it works. And it has to work for every query. Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. As much as Google would like to tell us the opposite. Now, John Mueller wanted to remind us, actually, I'm going back to February here. Geez, February 26th. He wanted to remind us that we don't need HTML sitemaps if we have good navigation that Google can crawl. Sitemaps, okay, I have to rant for just a second here. A lot of people think sitemaps have something to do with SEO. They really don't. They really don't. Let me tell you what sitemaps are good for. Sitemaps are good if you've never lied or were wrong in your sitemap, because they will, and John Mueller point blank admitted, they will stop trusting your sitemap and stop reading it. Let's assume for a second you've never been wrong in your sitemap. Then all that will do is it'll make them crawl those pages you put in your sitemap a little bit faster. The new ones you put in. You cannot make Google crawl old pages faster. They decide what their crawl rate is going to be. You cannot affect that. Not in that white hat way. Although technically it's black hat because you're trying to manipulate their algorithms. By that definition, any SEO is black hat because you're trying to manipulate the algorithms. That's why you're doing it, folks, to manipulate their algorithms. So I really get annoyed when a lot of people, think sitemaps have a lot to do with SEO. They really, really don't. If you have like a 1,000,000-page site, yeah, maybe updating your sitemap so that they crawl new pages faster might be a good idea. Otherwise, just build normal links to it. Internally, I'm talking about, of course, don't go buying links. This is generally the last thing you should be doing for SEO because it's so risky. And then there's other ways to get them to crawl your pages faster. Like, for example, just hypothetically speaking, you could make a PHP script that would change some kind of footer on the page and then change the last updated date and the code to say when it was last updated on a semi-regular basis. And that might fool Google into coming back faster and crawling it faster, and maybe even ranking it a little bit better if and only if you're in an industry where freshness would conceivably be of a benefit. So, for example, if you have a page about the pirates of 1775, typically that information doesn't change, and so in theory, freshness is less of a factor in that content. But if you're selling products or new products come out, or you have new information, or you're a news site for heaven's sake, yeah, for a lot of queries, that's going to be relevant. And so just hypothetically, just putting it out there for academic discussion, that might be something you could do. Even just having the last updated and the date at the top would be a good thing to do. And then in the H1 directly after that, make sure you have your keywords or your key phrase or something along those lines. That would be a thing that Google has point blank said and has been in SEO forever, and it's still an important thing to do. Have the H1 at the top and only one heading tag, not to confuse the issue of what the page is about. Don't have a heading about chiropractic services and then legal services and then, herbal Viagra. Definitely don't do that anywhere on your site or on one page, most especially. Okay. Also, here's another thing you can do. By the way, named anchors. If you guys don't know what, okay, the anchor tag in HTML is what makes the link. It's a space href equals blah. For those of you who know HTML, you also know there's something called the named anchor. The named anchor is a link inside that page where you say, click this, and it just brings you right, drop down to that part of the page, right? So you have, like, usually at the bottom, you have a named anchor to go to the top, and you top of the page, click it, brings you to the top of the page. It's kind of an old HTML thing, but Google, of course, are old HTML nerds just like I am, like a lot of us are, and they'll read the keywords in there and they will use it like a heading. So if you have to break up the structure of a page, you can use heading tags, but you can also use named anchors, by the way. And John Mueller has admitted on numerous occasions that they will crawl it, they will index it, they will use that for their semantic latent indexing to determine what that page is about and what the topic is and the subtopics are on that topic. And they might even show it in site links. In site links, in Google, they might even show it in site links. So in your index page, if you want to try and manipulate that, how the site links they show, you can possibly use named anchors if it makes logical sense. Like your page is about red apples, you got price, variety, availability, calorie information, whatever it is. If you put named anchors for that or headings as well, if you break up the logical structure of a page, Google will parse it and they will digest it and they will use it if they can understand it and if it seems useful for the users to use. Okay. Now, in March 8th, John Mueller had a hangout, and he gave a tip for testing. And he said if a new page on a site suddenly ranks for its keyword, then that site is doing very well. That site's doing everything that they want it to do. So if you have a new site, if you have a site, you put up a new page and it ranks right away or as soon as they crawl it basically for their keyword, that is the example of exactly what you want to be doing across the SEO board, right? To the degree which it doesn't do that, which is what most people find and they complain to them about, that's the degree to which the site has no authority/quality. I repeat, to the degree that you have an existing website and you put a page up and it doesn't rank for its keywords relatively quickly, like pretty much right away, that tells you you're doing SEO wrong, right? That tells you don't have enough authority and or you don't have enough quality. And why quality, you might ask? Well, he was asked that as well. Because when asked this, John Mueller said, and I quote, depending on what kind of website this is, so implying in this context, if it is a spammy or a low quality site, that new pages will not rank all of a sudden or / will not be trusted. So Google uses quality and authority interchangeably. Remember, quality is Google's primary metric they're using these days, not authority anymore. Definitely not link authority. And authority you have to factor into the RankBrain part of the algorithm, the quality. Remember, in 2016 and beyond, Google's algorithms can be easily admitted directly by Google, numerous Google employees. I'm not making this up. Such as Andrei Lepatsev, who works in the Dublin office. He's a senior search quality analyst. According to the people who put the Forbes article out, and we're talking about RankBrain, their algorithm breaks down into three main categories: off-site references, on-site references, and RankBrain, which in my opinion, and according to the patents that you read, is user clicks. It's a quality score based on user clicks, comparative user clicks of everybody else in that niche, right? So 33% off-site references, and I didn't say 33% links, I said 33% off-site references. So that includes social, which I'll be talking about today. That includes text mentions, in my opinion. That includes no-follow links, in my opinion. And that includes do-follow links, in my opinion, which have more juice, definitely, than those other things. But those other things do have some juice. Because there's plenty of industries that don't have any do-follow links being made anymore, right? Especially if things go viral, they have to watch the social space. They do. It's just, you can't black hat it the way everyone thinks you can black hat it. You can't make 100 fake accounts and have them all fake talking to each other. Because Matt Cutts lamented to me in a personal conversation I had with him a couple of years ago that they're having to write algorithms to clean up other people's spam, and he thought this was a terrible thing. And hey, dude, I get it. I guess that's probably annoying. Twitter can't clean up their own crap, and Facebook can't clean up their own spam. So you guys have to write algorithms because you want to use their stuff to parse that out. Cry me a river. Grr. Yeah, but so that tells me, obviously, they're thinking of doing that, they're doing that, that's the way they're going. So anyway, that's how it breaks down. It breaks down to off-site references, on-site references, DOD, on-page and domain-based SEO, semantic latent indexing, what are you about, what does everyone else say you're about, and how much are you about it, and then click, where do people click? The third one, RankBrain, was going to overshadow everything else very soon. Because when it comes down to it, you have to admit, where people click is ultimately what's important. Because they're telling you directly, those other signals have always been a tertiary signal at best as to quality and what people want. And they've fully admitted that. So that's the way that it's going. So again, remember, authority and quality are the same thing. If you publish a page and on your site that's been already ranking, but it doesn't rank for its keywords right away, that's a good litmus test as to whether you have a quality problem. And what page you end up on depends on, if you're already ranking page 1, well then theoretically, depending on who you're competing with or what you're doing or how far outside your semantic latent index this topic is about, if it's in your wheelhouse, it should show up on page 1 right away. If not, you've got a problem. If you have a problem, you can always contact me. See, did you like that segue? That was a good one, eh? By the way, in case you didn't know, I do SEO for a living. And I'd love to help you out. Before I forget, you can always email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at joshbachynski, and you can watch more videos like this, the SEO videos. Curse your son, but inevitable betrayal. You can watch more SEO videos like this with experiments at youtube.com/jbachynski, J-B-A-C-H-Y-N-S. Now, okay, so here's a rant I already talked to you about, and it's marked in my notes. Okay, we're going to get interesting stuff. Okay, again, Paul Haar. So now fast forward to April 25. Or go back, whatever. April 25th is when Paul Haar said this. Paul Haar confirms that speed as a factor is user experience, right? So I've long speculated that, although they have two algorithms, they have one that if you're way too slow, like over 20 seconds, it's a speed, just general demotion. But also, I factored this in. I believe this was user experience. I believe this for years. Paul Haar confirmed it on SE Roundtable. Old Barry Schwartz, good old rant fest of angry, churlish internet trolls. He said there is no bandwidth, quote unquote. There is no bandwidth. So, i.e., in other words, I'll decompress what that means. That means there is no bandwidth you have to be in. That means but he confirmed that speed is a factor. So he said speed's a factor, but it's not about the speed. ... It's about the user experience, right? That's the only other piece. There's websites and a person. And if it's not this, then it's got to be the person, right? So it's about user experience, which is completely subjective and variable. So XYZ bandwidth is irrelevant. So it's not. That's why he says it's not about bandwidth. But it doesn't say it, but they're saying as much as they can say to the good SEOs to try and help them, because that's how they sleep at night. And they think, oh yeah, we threw them a bone, we're so good, we're so nice. So that's how they sleep at night. So let's hope they keep trying to sleep at night. April 27th, Google confirms point blank that comments help rank. Yes, Google confirmed point blank that comments help rank websites on April 27th. Again, on SE Roundtable, Gary Ilyish tweeted back to Genstar that comments feeds into general quality. Say there's good content, and so he gave you like a theoretical example. He said, say there's good content, 5 points. Great links from great pages, 2 points. Thriving community, 1 point. Boom. There you go. There's a fairly direct admission right from directly from the proverbial dinosaur's mouth. So this is how it breaks down. Good content is worth 5 points. Great links from great pages, 2 points. Great links, so not spammy links or crap links, but good descriptive, but not too descriptive commercial anchor text from great pages, so non-spammy pages that look like they're selling links in any way, shape, or form, so like reputable over a certain, threshold of trust flow and reputability and things like that. Only 2 points. Only 2 points, less than half important than having good content. Thriving community, 1 point. A fifth as important as having good content. So, make for that what you will, but I didn't make that up. You can see the tweet. It's directly from Gary Ilyish. So, on May 4th, John Mueller, I told you I was going to go fast. On May 4th, John Mueller had a leak. And he recently confirmed that his user clicks that tells RankBrain, which is my take of his discussion, whether a multi-topic site is good or bad. So he's asked about multi-topic sites and should we have that? And basically, in my opinion, he answered, it depends how the user likes the quality of the site and how the user behaves. So, AKA, it's how that relates to RankBrain. Is it, well, it depends on how the user likes it and how the user is using it and blah, 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 whether it's good content or not. So, AKA, it's user clicks. They're tracking user clicks. They're tracking maybe even heat mapping. because they render the page, right? So that they can do a heat map on it and tell where the mouse is going and what you're all doing and stuff like that. The same way the heat mapping software does. And they can use that to statistically determine if the page is good or not. So again, I just said actually not to have a multi-topic website. And the reason is because it's usually pretty hard to pull off. The websites that do pull it off is because they are such good quality and so brand trusted that they can pull it off. But if you just want to start one from scratch, it's going to be a tough road to guarantee, to convince RankBrain that you're of quality, and all this noise of people clicking around is not them being dissatisfied. And then you might ask me, well, Josh, they can't be using user clicks because then there's going to be noise and then they won't know if my site's good or not. And my answer is, tough crap. Then there's noise. And they go, sorry, we can't. We have 40 trillion web pages. They literally have 40 trillion web pages to rank and sort. If you can't come to the game with a clear signal that you're great, get out. That's their philosophy now. They are no longer in the flow. Those people don't even work for Google anymore. Matt Cutts and Amit Singhal, they don't work for Google search anymore, right? Some of the old champions of the democratic web who really betrayed us and betrayed that whole idea and then got guilty, in my opinion, and felt guilty and quit. That's my opinion. They don't even work there anymore. So the old champions of the democratic web, whoever it was, doesn't work there anymore. They changed their motto from "Don't be evil" to "Do the right thing," and they think the right thing is rewarding the good guys and punishing the bad guys. That's what they think it is. And so you have to clearly show them you're one of the good guys, otherwise they're going to punch you out. And so no, that's not a counter argument to say that they're not using this. Okay. June 1st. So an interesting experiment on SEMrush showed that Google does not crawl internal nofollow link targets. Of course, but that does not mean, so that means that if you have no follows on your internal links to try and sculpt PageRank, they're not going to crawl those links. So that's a great thing for sculpting PageRank because you put the no follows on what you don't want to have the importance on your site, and you put the followed links on the majority of followed links on what you want to tell Google, I want to rank for this. I am about dinosaurs. I want to rank for carnivorous dinosaurs. I do not want to rank for herbivore dinosaurs, right? So you have the follow links going here, you have the no follow links going here. You're not going to rank for this as much, you're going to rank for this more, as much as you could possibly rank given your site's general authority and general quality and things like that. See the lighting? Gets all screwed up in my camera trying to track it. Okay, so, I have to bust the dinosaurs out for this one. Jeez, guys. So that doesn't mean that, but it also doesn't mean that the links are not used for semantic latent indexing, and it doesn't mean that no follow links out on the web are not crawled. All the tests I've seen, if you have a no-follow link out on the web, it's crawled. So it's only no-follow internal links that are not crawled. So again, that's a really good tool for telling Google what important pages you have. Really, it's not a black hat thing at all, even though PageRank sculpting was a big deal. It's not really anymore. It's part of good SEO. They just don't call it PageRank sculpting. They call it telling Google what your most important pages are, that your site is about and you are about, and that we should rank you for. So that's what you should be doing. Your top 5, 10, 20, 100 pages, whatever they are, that you want to rank, should be getting the majority of your internal link juice. And you can use no follow links to the pages you don't want to rank to sculpt that, to give the majority of that link juice to them. Okay, on June 1st, John Mueller said something very interesting to a professional, personal colleague of mine that I will not mention his name or her name, or their name. You don't know what gender it is, if it's even a gender at all. It could be an alien for all you know. It could be this dinosaur. I'm not going to tell you. Stop trying to get me to tell you. Sorry. So, so John Mueller had a very interesting leak that I will tell you, and I mean, I can't prove it because this was told to me in confidence. It wasn't told to me in confidence like, don't repeat it. It was told me in confidence like, I don't want my name attached to this. So, or at least I hope so, because I'm about to say it. Maybe this person will watch, or maybe not. Maybe they're not my friend anymore, and then I can tell you who it was. No, I wouldn't do that, of course. I wouldn't ever do that. Who, me? Expose things? Never. So John Mueller told this fellow, or lady, you never know, behind the scenes, that links will only work short term. He said links will work short term, but then if they prove to be quote unquote bad, the ranking benefit from the links will decrease. So this is a very interesting leak. It confirms what a lot of black hats have thought for a while, a sneaky little black hat trick they use to get some of their links counted and to, I'll just say that, to get their links counted and to beat the kind of trust algorithms Google has to whether trust spammy looking links or not on spammy looking pages. You might think, what could they be possibly tracking that would do that? So, various things actually. So I can't really say what that is on air, but if you want to email me, I would be happy to discuss it with you in a mono or a girly or girlo or mono or girlo or whatever. Again, gender neutral. It's 2016, people. You can use whatever bathroom you want. So yeah, I can't really say more other than that, but it's very interesting that John Mueller confirmed it. This long suspected trick that black hats have been using. So for those of you who know what I'm talking about, are going to be like, that's interesting. For those of you who don't, they're going to be like, what is it? And they're going to email me and we'll talk. But you shouldn't really be buying links anyway. It's getting exceedingly difficult to game those algorithms. I have much easier things to do that are completely white hat. That dictate, in my opinion, more of the algorithm. Which is on page and user clicks. Quality, 66%. Do follow links is like 15% of the ranking algorithm, 20% at best, in my opinion. Anyway, okay, March 11th, John Mueller had another hangout. And so he said a bunch of really interesting stuff. Let's see, I got maybe 5 minutes left on this hangout. Let's see how many I can get through. Rapid fire. 1, he said image snippets in the SERPs are counted in Search Console. So, for example, if you do a search and sometimes they show a row of images, like because Google doesn't know what you want, like if you cite red apples, it'll be like, you want redapples.com, you want pictures of red apples, you want what? If those pictures come from your site, that is being counted in Search Console for your search, your impressions and your ranking position, FYI. 2, he said, changing the content on the page will take, and I quote, quite a bit of time to rank for new keywords. Don't expect it to work this way. So that's very interesting. He said that you can rank a new page, and if you've got a good quality site and nothing's wrong, it should rank for its keywords pretty much right away. But he said, don't change the content of a page. It'll take quite a bit of time. Why will it take quite a bit of time? They crawl it right away, right? What is going on with the semantic-laden indexing that takes quite a bit of time? FYI, it's Panda and RankBrain. They're all built in together. Hummingbird and RankBrain work together, and they change the entity database. RankBrain is the confirmation that XYZ is about XYZ. When they search for ABC, they get XYZ. Those two things are semantically linked. And RankBrain, to track all those clicks and to filter out the noise, takes months and months and months and months. So that's why it takes so much time, right? So you can't just change your page and have it ranking for something like that. That was an old SEO tactic, right? You get a page with all this link juice ranking for XYZ, and you change it to ABC, and it ranks for ABC like that. Doesn't work that way anymore because of RankBrain. Because RankBrain works on user clicks, not crawling. If it was just crawling and testing your static quality to a standard sheet of this is what a quality page is, it would go like that. They could do Panda like that. It doesn't work that way. So, he said links are important pages right from the index. So make sure you link your important pages right from the index page or other related pages. So again, as I said, when it comes to page rank sculpting, I mean doing your internal linking for proper SEO, your important pages you want to rank the most, those 5 or 10 or 100 pages I said you want to rank the most, they should link right from the index page, by the way, or as close to the index page as possible, because again, that's another big signal that tells Google, these are your most important pages, rank them. John Mueller was asked, should we have a local address on our site? And he said, if it's relevant, then yes, most definitely. Local sites for sure. If you're in a local business, you have to have your address on the index page or somewhere prominently on the web page. I would say it's a quality factor, and my Panda quality list has said this is a quality factor for over 2 years now. You need to have, from other Google leaks that I've acquired, you need to have because the Google Quality Raters Guideline actually said this. That was secretly leaked from years ago, not the one that they whitewashed and leaked. So you need to have, because it tells Google that you're a reputable business. I see the signs of this all the time. Sites that rank well have all these quality signals, and sites that rank poorly have none. I do hundreds of audits a year. I see this, guys. Okay. If I do an audit for your site, you're going to know what's going on. You're going to know why you're ranking, or you're going to know why you're not ranking. And I'm like, yep, I see it. I see it all the time. There's nothing I can't explain. There's nothing I don't understand about it. So, it's just because I do this every day and I've done this for a long time. It's just because I've been paying attention. Anyone who's been paying attention, and all my colleagues, all my black hat colleagues, my white hat colleagues I talk to are all like, yeah, okay, we see how it's going. We see how other people are messing up because they don't understand. Okay, John Mueller does imply that a 10-year-old site does rank better, but he also said we only look at things you can't fake, quote unquote. He says we only look at things you can't fake, quote unquote. So that should make you ask the question, what can you not fake easily? You can't fake user signals easily from confirmed accounts. You can't fake good design. You can't fake speed. You can't fake schema, right? Those are the things that are harder to fake. On-page stuff and user click stuff is harder to fake. This is the way they're going. That's what they use the most. This is the way they're going. He also said, and I quote, we no longer need to count the words or count the keywords to keyword frequency to know if this is a good page and we should rank it. I repeat, keyword frequency is not as important. Keyword placement might still be, and correlation, my correlation software that I can use to determine what ranking factors are in a particular niche, aka your niche if you want to know, in case there's any specific algorithms for specific niches. Like they have specific algorithms for the payday loans niche, for example, and other niches like that, like cars, for example. So if you want to know what specific secret algorithms there are for your niche, you have to do correlation software. You have to do correlation reports, and I'm the only guy that I know that has software robust enough to do that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. It's a giant sales pitch. It's like Josh needs money to fund more of his documentary, which is, yeah, that's very true. Cough. So remember, they know that, and this is a direct quote from John Mueller from this hangout, which again, as I said, was March 11th. He said, and I quote, we no longer need to count the words or count the keyword frequency to know if this is a good page, my words, about topic XYZ, his words, and we should rank it. So it's about keyword placement, and again, it's about RankBrain confirming that when they search for ABC, they really wanted XYZ, and this is about XYZ, so give it to them. And he also said they want to show, and I quote, really fantastic websites. And they will, that's the quote, really fantastic websites. They only want to show really fantastic websites, and they will check everything they can to make sure that is the case. You can't just be good. You have to be better than everybody else in terms of what you're saying and, most importantly, how you are saying it. So design matters, cough, people. The writing quality matters. The user interface matters. The time to conversion matters. The time to get them to do what it is they're supposed to do on that type of page for that type of user. Google knows all this. They've been talking about this. Miley Oyi, another Google employee who I've spoken with personally, has been talking about this for the last 2 years. It's very interesting to watch what Miley Oyi says, because she doesn't work with any of those other people. She's completely different. She doesn't even seem to care or get the memo about being quiet and not spilling the beans on the Google, the algorithms and how the algorithms are working. Because she's so kind of removed from it, she's like, whatever. So that's a very bad impression, I apologize. So, but she is, living in California. So, yeah. So she's been talking about this point blank, and she'll answer questions point blank at conferences. So if there's ever a conference where Miley Oyi is, she might be different now, but she would tell me things point blank about SEO algorithms and what was going on and blah blah blah. And most of the people haven't even heard of Miley Oyi, right? Okay, and he also said, almost done this one. RankBrain will analyze links to determine what links are valid. John Mueller directly admits they do a lot of this already. In my opinion, when he was asked, are you guys going to use RankBrain to analyze links? His face told me yes. So I've developed an art of reading John Mueller's face. You can scoff at this, but this is a fairly legitimate science that people do of reading other people's faces. At least in politics, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. In negotiations, I've been doing this for a very long time. In poker, they do this, and people make a lot of money in poker learning how to read other people's faces. And I've learned how to read John Mueller's face. And John Mueller is not a good liar at all. And he wants to spill the beans like he used to be able to do at conferences and just tell people, his friends and buddies and whatnot, exactly how things were working, the good SEOs again. And it tells me that they ask you, he has two faces. He has the face, or he has the face like that. Whenever he gives you both faces, you know he's either can't control his emotions or he's controlling his emotions too much, and there's something there going on. Doesn't tell you what is going on, but tells you something there is going on. And he was directly point blank asked, are you going to use RankBrain to analyze links? And he was like, he denied it, but his face said yes. So in my opinion, his face said yes. His mouth said no, but his face said yes. Cough. Yes. So I think this is how, I mean, clearly they're going to use artificial intelligence. The new head of Google Search is there, John Gianandrea, something like that. Gianandrea was their former head of artificial intelligence. Their former head of artificial intelligence is now the head of Google Search. You do the frickin' math, people. You do the frickin' math. So I think that tell of John Mueller's confirms that RankBrain will be the main ranking factor. Basically admits it verbally as well when he says, and I quote, we need a system to kind of react to something we haven't seen before, quote unquote. This means they have to listen and handle all search queries, as I said. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. You can't just kick in RankBrain when you don't understand. I mean, it doesn't think. It's not a person. So it's like, I don't know what to do. I'll call RankBrain. No, it's like RankBrain has to be there the whole time to analyze every query to see where they click to know if the weird queries or the regular queries are being serviced right. Think about the speed it would take to call another process in. You know, it doesn't work that way. So John Mueller is saying canonicals and things will remain. Some things will remain a static algorithm, like the canonical algorithm, the semantic latent indexing. You know, the basis of it will remain the same. You know, blah 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 blah. But everything else is going to be artificial intelligence, and RankBrain is going to usurp all that. And they don't know. They've admitted they don't know what RankBrain is doing because that's what it's doing. It's tracking clicks. They don't know where people are clicking. RankBrain knows. It's too many clicks to track for a human being, and it's going to start making decisions. Right? That's what artificial intelligence does. It makes decisions. And he's point blank asked, "You are not using RankBrain for generic queries," and he does not give a direct denial. In fact, he implies over time that they will use RankBrain for generic queries. And that's what John Mueller always says. He says, we're not doing it now, but in the future we might. That means we're doing it now, good SEOs. I want to tell you without telling you. He's done this for years. He has done this for years, right? Panda, Penguin, duplicate content kind of penalties. He's done this for years. You know, in the future we could speed, mobile quality, mobile design, mobile speed. He's done this for years. In the future, you know, this could be something you need to watch for, meaning we're doing it now or like next week. And hey guys, you better start changing things. You good SEOs who are my buddies and pals who buy me beers when I go to conferences, you better start changing things. So ladies and gentlemen, and transgendered friends, that is my SEO rant/hangout for today. If you have any questions, by all means, I'd love to explain or discuss any of this at length with you. Please email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me at joshbachynski. It's BACHYNSKI. Google knows all about me. And you can see more videos like this where I give even longer and better experiments and graphs and data and things and other SEO leaks at youtube.com/jbachins, JBACHYNS. So with that, I bid you goodbye. My dinosaur friends say goodbye. Goodbye. This one says au revoir. He's French. And I'll see you next time. And good luck on the serves.